My name is Andy, and this is the most magical podcast on earth. When I'm not on holiday at Walt Disney World, I'm planning a holiday to Disney. And I'm not planning a holiday to Disney, I'm talking about Disney with other UK fans like me who make the trip to Orlando and the House of the Mouse. So if you too are crazy for Daisy or go silly for Minnie, that doesn't rhyme, well then this definitely is the podcast for you. Or maybe you're the Disney novice, the fan who's currently thinking about, or maybe you're in the planning stages of your first ever trip to Walt Disney World and you think that a stormtrooper is another name for a TV weatherman. Well then this really is the podcast for you. Every week, I'll be chatting to other Disney superfans from around the UK to share their memories of their magical times. And this week's guest, Hattie, had a long time between her last trip and the previous one.
That is probably my most vivid memory of my dad. I remember seeing that show. So that was the first thing we did, and I just burst into tears.
Also going to be answering your Walt Disney World questions, getting the latest news from the parks, and if you are heading over to Orlando soon, everything you need to know to have the most magical time. So make sure you keep in touch. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at PodMagical. This is the most magical podcast on earth as part of the Secret Recordings Network. We're here to answer your questions every week, whether it comes to planning or anything you want to know about Walt Disney World. Last week, we're talking about budgeting, how to do it when you're kind of trying to get your best bang for the buck. Thank you for your comments on that, by the way. Shelley has given me some more top tips about when you get to the park. Includes bringing snacks, reusable water bottles, even tea bags and coffee sachets. That helps reduce on spending on food and drink in the parks. I also bring my own poncho. Disney prices are crazy. Yeah, it's about $10 for a Disney poncho. And they only bring them out when it starts pouring in rain. Suddenly these racks of Macs suddenly arrive from nowhere. So before you go, get down the pound shop, get yourself a pound poncho and take that with you. Sophie as well says, we take Disney clothes and all our ears from home. So, if you go into Primark, where it's a little bit cheaper than buying the Disney t-shirts, obviously you might want one that says Walt Disney World on it. But if you're going to be wearing Disney stuff every day, just don't buy everything from the parks. Get it before you go. Don't forget to pack your painkillers and your Calpol for the kids. We took those little squash squeezers. So you obviously can get the free water from the parks and you can squeeze the squash in that to give it a bit of flavour. Also as well, we ended up spending loads on sunscreen. We've got 2 kids and they're quite fair skinned, so don't forget to pack loads of sun cream with you as well. Thank you, Sophie, for your top tips. Don't forget, you can keep in touch. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We are at PodMagical. Same place to go to send your questions as well. We only got time for one question this week, but I've been asked this quite a few times, including Emily, who sent me a question on Instagram about the British Walt Disney World. I keep reading reports that the UK's Disneyland is currently being planned. Other people have asked me this. There are reports of the UK's Disneyland. This isn't the UK's Disneyland. We are not getting a UK Disneyland. There is going to be a new theme park in London. It has got nothing to do with Disney. A lot of media saying, oh, it's the UK's answer to Disney. It's not even that. I think this is Paramount Pictures that are building it. It's called the London Resort, over 500 acres, the size of the Olympic Park. It's going to be massive. It's going to be a huge, huge resort and theme park, but it's got nothing to do with Disney at all. So we aren't getting a UK Disneyland. You'll still have to go to Paris for the nearest one. Any questions? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. PodMagical is where we are. Same place to go if you want to be a podcast guest, like this week's guest, Hattie. So, Hattie, why do you love Walt Disney World?
Well, I love Walt Disney World. I think the reason that most people love it is that as soon as you walk in, you just leave your normal, mundane, boring life, all your emails at the gate, and you're just transformed completely into another world. And it's so magical as well, seeing somebody that's never been. My husband, it was his first time to Disney and to Florida as well. And it was just you just can't explain it to somebody that's not been. And then when you see them experience it for the first time, you get as much joy out of that as you do yourself.
But your first time, yeah. Now, am I right saying that it was your honeymoon when you went last year?
Yes, in October.
Okay. But there was quite a gap between that visit and the previous visit.
Yeah, so I think it would have been about 18 years. I think the last time I went, I was 12.
Right.
But I think this was my 6th or 7th time. So between being born and 12, I think I went about 5 or 6 times.
So you've got loads and loads of childhood memories.
Yeah.
Which one sticks out? Do you remember your first time?
No, because I would have been like 6 months old, and my brother is like 2 years older. So we went when we were younger, and then we went with my cousins, and then we went with my younger brother, my half brother, when I was about 12. So there's been different trips, but I think it's mainly the photos. Like my dad dug out a load of photos of me with like Minnie Mouse in like 1994, and I'm in this like horrendous polka dot like proper 90s dress. But I think it's seeing all the characters that, you know, those characters, some of them aren't around anymore, like Figment. He's not around.
Oh, that's a crime. They should bring him back.
So yeah, seeing that and then going back and doing like the Figment ride, and obviously I don't remember it because I was like 4 or 6 or whatever, but knowing that I was there, it's kind of this weird like nostalgia thing.
The expectation you were getting before you went on your honeymoon, were you just looking at photographs going, I can't wait to do this and see this? Was it what you expected? Was it what you remembered?
It's definitely smaller. You know, when you're a kid, everything just feels so
smaller.
Cute. Well, no, I mean like the things feel like a lot. I mean, the parks are obviously ginormous.
Yeah.
Things like the props, everything feels a lot bigger, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And you can see the, you know, as an adult, you can kind of see the workings of the magic. Whereas when you're a kid, it's like pure, complete.
You're just in it.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas but I quite like that as an adult, going, oh, that's how they do that, and you can kind of figure out.
That's what I love.
Yeah,
I love all that.
It's quite fun deconstructing it. So yeah.
However, the last time you went to Walt Disney World, how many days were you there for? Explain.
So we were there, I think it was 5 nights in total. So we literally landed at whatever it was, like 2:00. Within 2 hours of landing, we went to Hollywood Studios and we were sat down watching the stunt show of Indiana Jones.
Yes, that's how you do it. Straight off the plane, straight in the parks. Well, I suppose if you're limited on time, there's so much to get in.
There was no messing around. And my husband just didn't get, before we were going, I was like, we need to plan. We need to get fast passes. And he's quite a planner anyway, but he just couldn't, he didn't understand why. And then when we got there, it was like, right, okay.
When you see 2-hour queues and you're going, okay, get now while you've done that.
Like organised fun police, I'm all for it. And it totally paid off. I think, you know, we were sat doing, the Indiana Jones. That is probably my most vivid memory of my dad. I remember seeing that show. So that was the first thing we did. And I just like burst into tears, obviously a bit jet lagged. I was like, I can't believe I'm here.
Back here already.
So good. And it was just amazing. And I think for Michael, my husband, it was... to see that as the first thing was like, whoa, this is what Disney's about. I had no idea. So yeah, that was pretty epic.
I always like Hollywood Studios for a first time for somebody.
Yeah.
I usually do Fantasmic on the first night.
That's what we did. So then we did Fantasmic, got a good seat, and again we were kind of like falling asleep by that point. But I was like, no, we've got to do it because we wanted to see all the shows at kind of all the parks. And again, we only had 4 evenings or whatever it was. And then obviously we did Tower of Terror after Fantasmic. So, you know, just as it was getting dark, the doors open, Michael was like, that's not the park. I was like, yes, it is the park. You've just seen Disney. And he just couldn't, it just didn't compute in his mind.
So how much did you manage to squeeze into your few days then? Did you do everything you wanted? Did you go to every park?
Yeah, we did every park. Apart from, we didn't do any of the Disney water parks. I think one of them was closed, either Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach, but we didn't go to either of the Disney ones because we did Volcano Bay at Universal, which I hadn't done previously because it's only a few years old. And it was epic. It was so, so good. We did the proper big, I didn't do the big drop one, but the one down from that, which was like enough. Like the vertical drop that literally it's like a trap door and it opens and you fall straight. You don't even touch the sides.
Sounds awful.
I know. And my head was like rattling and it just made me get an instant headache. So it was epic. There's like this water roller coaster and then you can lie on your front on one of the mats and go down. And yeah, it was brilliant. Like, I absolutely loved Volcano Bay.
So because Universal is a little bit more adult than the Disney parks, is that the same because Volcano Bay is a Universal one? Is that much the same as it's kind of like a slightly more adult water park, bigger rides, bigger attractions, a bit more of a thrill to it?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I guess, and it's brand new as well.
Yeah.
So I guess like whichever one it is that's currently being updated, Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon, they're both a bit dated. I mean, I remember, and I do have memories of being there when I was a kid. So that, they're like best part of 20 years old, aren't they? So they need that kind of facelift, as it were.
Yeah.
But yeah, Volcano Bay, we absolutely loved it. Every day we did 2 parks, basically.
So was that part of your planning process, going, okay, we want to hit this, this and this?
It was only the first day, which was basically an evening. We did Hollywood Studios. And then the second day, Magic Kingdom, got there for rope drop.
Yeah.
Straight to Splash Mountain. This was the best bit, right? What's the song that goes that's on a loop on Splash Mountain?
I know what you mean, yeah.
And they're singing, aren't they? And it's really annoying. Anyway, first ride breaks down. We were on that blooming thing for about 40 minutes.
That's not part of the plan.
No, I know. And I was like, no, I wanted to be on another ride by now. And we were having our breakfast, we'd like left the hotel, not even eating our breakfast. It was like, right, we'll eat a banana and a cereal bar in the queue. Like, we don't need to.
Maximise the time.
Yeah, no messing about. And then the first ride on the first full day, me and my husband are sat in the log flume on Splash Mountain, being bumped behind from the other ones.
With that awful song going on a loop.
Literally, he was like, give me some earplugs or something. And then, so we spent the whole day at Magic Kingdom. And because it was last week of September, first week of October, so it was all the Halloween stuff going on. So we planned it, so we did it when we were getting kicked out.
Yeah, because the parks are a bit quieter. Magic Kingdom's quieter if people know that it shuts at like 6 to go, well, we won't bother.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we kind of maximised that, which again is planning. And then we went to Epcot because that was penultimate night of Illuminations, the show. So it was great to see that. Day 3, we did a Universal day. So all day at Volcano Bay. And then about 5 o'clock, we went to Islands of Adventure. So we still got a good couple of hours at Islands of Adventure, and then had dinner at City Walk. Day 4 was all day at Universal, and then went back to Islands of Adventure to finish a few
So you did
bits
both parks, because they're pretty much next door. You can literally just walk between those two.
Oh yeah, it's like not even a 5-minute walk. And then day 5, day at Animal Kingdom, got there first thing, and then Happily Ever After at Magic Kingdom. Day 6, this was a really good thing that I'm not sure you've done this. We went to Celebration.
It's just a town, isn't it?
It's a town that Walt Disney built for the residents of Orlando. Yeah. And it is phenomenal. It's like wisteria. It's like proper Desperate Housewives. And one of my friends, Kate, suggested to go, and she went with her husband and the family. And she was like, right, that's your wedding present. Like $50 to get yourself brunch when you're there. And we had such a lovely time. The motorised scooters as well. They had them. So we kind of went round some of the neighbourhood.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. So we spent the morning there. It's just a really quaint little village, and you can get an Uber just like you can from anywhere. And then we went back to Hollywood Studios to finish off what we'd done there, and then went back to Epcot to see the brand new show. And then we went back to Hollywood Studios to see the Star Wars show.
What? So you literally did 3 parks in one day?
So Celebration the town, and then Hollywood Studios to do some rides, and then Epcot the new show, and then back to Hollywood Studios.
Did you run between Hollywood Studios and Epcot?
We've walked down
through Boardwalk.
Yeah, Boardwalk, which is really nice.
I like Boardwalk.
Got margaritas on the way.
Yeah.
By the time we got back, we were a bit tiddly, but yeah, that was we loved that. Celebration is like a must-do. It's a good day to do outside of the parks, midweek when you're like, oh, God.
Yeah, or maybe a weekend. Because the parks are really busy at weekends, especially if you've got locals going, so maybe like a Saturday when people are coming and going, finishing and starting the holidays.
Definitely.
Celebration for brunch. I want to find out more about other places you went in Florida, as this was part of your honeymoon. And also, we haven't spoken about restaurants and hotels. So we'll be back with Hattie in just a sec. First up, let's get you all the latest news from Walt Disney World and the Walt Disney Company, actually. Mickey Mouse has got a new boss. You might have heard about this. Bob Chapek has been announced as the new CEO of the Walt Disney Company. He'll be taking over, he has taken over straight away from Bob Iger, who was probably held the biggest job in the entertainment industry, they call this. Of course, Bob Iger was the guy responsible for bringing in Pixar and Lucasfilms and so many changes with Marvel. It's big shoes to fill, but Bob Chapek will be taking over. He has previously been with the Disney Company. He's been the chairman of Parks, Experience and Products. So he knows the theme parks inside and out. So let's see what he's got lined up for the Walt Disney World Company as he takes over as the new CEO. Also as well, if you are heading over to Walt Disney World in summer, then you won't be able to ride the famous Epcot attraction, Spaceship Earth. You'll know that some big changes are heading to Spaceship Earth, and the closure has been announced from May the 26th. This is going to be a big, long closure for the attraction inside the big golf ball at Epcot, including a whole whole new storyline, and I think there's going to be some new tracks going down and a lot of maintenance, maybe an entire new entrance as part of the whole redevelopment for Epcot. As we announced last week, tickets are now on sale for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party for this year. Some UK travel agents actually had them on sale last year. Walt Disney World officially are now selling them, and the dates are officially out. The first Halloween party is on the 13th of August. It goes through till the 1st of November on select nights. Different prices depending on which night you go. Obviously, if you're going on actual Halloween night, it's like $149 for an adult. The lowest price is about $85 for an adult and $80 for a child. They're on sale now at disneyworld.com. And also as well, keep an eye open for the Christmas parties, because I don't think they're going to be too far behind either. Here in the UK, we've got something exciting to look forward to. Saturday Night Takeaway. If you're watching Ant and Dec on the first of the new series last weekend, they are giving away trips to Walt Disney World. This series, which also means the last episode of the show, is going to be live from Walt Disney World, Orlando, Florida. I cannot wait to see that. That will be on Saturday, the 4th of April, is when the live show is going to come from America for Saturday Night Takeaway. And there's loads of chances to win this co-promotion that they're running with Virgin Holidays. So keep an eye on that, and fingers crossed. Good luck. If you entered and you win, let me know. I think you can take 3 people with you, so I'm always happy to go if you want a +1. And other news, which is very exciting this week, Disney Plus, the online streaming service. This has got all the Disney and Pixar and Marvel and Star Wars programs on it. There's so much on Disney Plus. It will be launching on the 24th of March, and you can now sign up. There is a limited time offer for $49.99 for the year, which is pretty good. Less than 50 quid for the whole year of Disney Plus. That offer, by the way, is only valid up to the 23rd of March, the day before it starts streaming. Make sure you've got a couple of weeks off work to catch up on all the amazing programs. If you're a big fan of Disney parks, the Imagineering series is the one that I will be watching first. Let me know if you've already signed up to Disney Plus and what you're looking forward to. And of course, you can keep up with all the news from Disney and the parks. Just check us out, Pod Magical, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Same place to go if you want to be a podcast guest and chat about your love of Walt Disney World, like Hattie, who went to Florida last year as part of her honeymoon, including a few days at, well, all the Orlando parks. You did all the theme parks. So where did you use as your base? Where did you actually stay?
Okay, so we stayed at Sheraton Vistana Villages, which is on International Drive, so a villa. Again, kind of picked there because it was halfway between Universal and Disney, and we knew that we were doing both. And probably a bit cheaper. I mean, it had a pool. We didn't use the pool until like the last, I think, one. Yeah. So actually, I think even though it was a honeymoon, we probably should have just got somewhere way cheaper. I think, you're not in the hotel unless you're, doing all inclusive and you're eating and you're doing the meal plan and whatever. Then I don't really, and you're and you're at a Disney park. Then I don't really see that.
It's all about location, really.
Yeah. Just do a holiday in. Yeah. Which I would definitely do next time, I think, because you're just not there. Especially if you're factoring in your water park days, then that's when you're in your swimming costume and, So, yeah, we stayed there, which was great, central location. Really liked it.
Uber around, or did you get a car?
Just Ubered, because, again, we wanted to have a few drinks. And then by the time you park the car and then you're fanning around.
It's $25 a day to park anyway.
Exactly.
It's probably not that in an Uber or around that.
Yeah, so, we might have spent a little bit more. I think we were using Lyft as well.
Yeah.
So between the two of them, it kind of worked out quite well. And we were doing a bit of the transport in between, and we planned it so, we were doing Universal to Islands of Adventure or Epcot to Hollywood Studios, so you could walk. So we were maximising how we were getting around as well.
Food. Do you have a favourite restaurant?
So it's a really naff one, but again, it's a complete nostalgia thing. Rainforest Cafe at Animal Kingdom.
Oof.
I know.
I'm not a fan.
But the food, I get it. It's proper, like burger and chips is rubbish food. And we're both big foodies. So it was a bit of a waste of a meal, but it's just the animals. I just love.
So did you go there as a kid?
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a nostalgic trip back.
That's it, 100%. But actually, it was the first time that I've been to Animal Kingdom, and I think I would say it's my favourite park.
It's an incredible park.
I love it. And like loads of my friends, actually William, who was on the podcast a couple of weeks ago.
Let's get expert William Hanson.
Yes, he's one of my best friends. He's not done Animal Kingdom, and I keep raving to him about it. So it's on his list. But I loved it. And I loved the Nemo show. Probably one of my favourite shows.
It's great. It's kind of like a Broadway show, isn't it? It's a 20-minute Broadway show.
It's phenomenal. It's so good. And actually, out of everything, I mean, I love the rides and stuff. But again, my husband was really surprised at how many of the rides are simulation. They're not roller coasters. Lots of them are you sit in a box and
Yeah, especially at Universal.
You have a big screen in front of you. And at Epcot, there's a lot of it at Hollywood Studios as well. And that was quite surprising for him. But what I really like is the shows, like Lion King, the Nemo show, Fantasmic, Indiana Jones. There's just so many. The Star Wars, all the evening shows as well.
So if you don't like rides, don't be put off.
No, there is loads. So other restaurants, it always gets mentioned on the podcast. The drive-in one.
Yeah.
Again, rubbish food. Don't go go there for some fries and a milkshake, knowing that you're not going to get decent food, but it's completely the theme.
Yeah.
But I wish we'd have eaten it on City Walk as well. I think we went and we got there. I think we went after one of the evening shows and everything was kind of like closed. And or taking the time to kind of go through the boardwalk properly and eat round there as well. That's a really nice little walk.
And Disney Springs as well.
Yeah, exactly. So again, that was just time for us.
Yeah, 5 days though. You did a lot in 5 days.
Yeah. And we were just kind of eating on the hoof as and when and sharing meals, really.
Yeah, you can do that. What about a favourite ride, if there was one favourite ride?
So I knew you were going to ask me this question and I've been thinking about it. Everyone says Tower of Terror, obviously, goes without saying. It's in the top 3. It's Splash Mountain for
Even after 45 minutes.
Yeah, okay, maybe not. No, maybe not this time. But maybe Animal Kingdom, like the safari. I was just completely blown away. I know that's not necessarily a ride, but the experience itself, just phenomenal. Like I had no idea of the scale of it, and it feels like you're in a safari park.
Yeah, the whole safari park part is bigger than Magic Kingdom. The whole land that they've got just for that savannah is bigger than the whole of Magic Kingdom.
It's massive. Probably, and Everest as well.
Oh,
that's your favourite.
That's my favourite, Everest, yeah.
I did quite like that. I did quite enjoy that. But yeah, Animal Kingdom I would definitely... We didn't do the evening show at Animal Kingdom. I know it's not quite... isn't it the one on the water?
The Rivers of Light. If you're there for a couple of weeks, go and see it. But I wouldn't stress if you've not got time and you miss it.
So I'd like to have spent more time at Animal Kingdom because there was definitely... And there were, because of our time restraints and just fast passes, because we weren't staying on property, we did miss out on a couple of things, so didn't get to do Seven Dwarfs. But again, for
Is that because you missed, if you had the 60 days booking for Fast Pass, but you only had 30, they'd all gone?
Exactly, I think so. And then it was the fact that once we were there, it's like, well, we're not going to queue 2 hours because we know we've got to get as much, let's just do as much as we can and then get out and go to the next park. So it was just maximising the fun, really. But it's a small world. I mean, it's so naff. It's just so naff. Michael was like, am I dreaming?
Am I drunk?
But yeah, I think all the kind of nostalgia ones.
Classic,
really. Yeah.
What about the rest of your trip then? How did Disney fit in to the biggest... You went the whole of Florida?
Yes.
Miami, Keys?
So after that mad day at Day 6 celebration, Hollywood Studios, Epcot back to Hollywood Studios, drove to Miami, hired a Mustang, which is a must do, and then drove down to Miami, which is only about a 4-hour drive, but we kind of stopped on the way, so it took all day to do it. Went to Cocoa Beach just because it's called Cocoa and I liked the sound of it.
Like Coco Chanel.
Yeah, exactly. So went there and then stopped in Fort Pierce for lunch, and then we checked it. We were staying on South Beach in Miami. We were there for 4 nights in Miami, and ate at Versace's mansion, which was amazing. But
amazingly expensive.
No, actually, I mean, it wasn't cheap, but if for a nice meal in Disney, it was probably on par. It wasn't as much as you might think. And then so did 4 days in Miami, did some kind of cool stuff like a Segway tour, and then had a really, really big night out. I mean, if you're going to party, you're going to party in Miami. But we ended up...
Big Latino club.
Yeah. But no, we ended up in a dive bar, actually. Got chatting to some people in a bar, like a Glaswegian guy that was running this bar, and then he suggested that we go to this dive bar, and so we ended up there, had a great night. And then we did the Everglades tour as well, which was really good.
Yeah, that's not far from Orlando. There's various different ones you can do.
Yeah, so definitely worth doing. Didn't see any crocs though. Bit disappointing.
Alligators though, aren't they?
Yeah, same thing. So that was a bit disappointing. Being on the beach in Miami. I don't think I'll ever go back to Miami. I feel like I'm check.
Yeah, done it.
It's it's very swank. It feels a bit like, but especially South Beach. It's just women walking down with
pretentious.
Not very much. They're not wearing very much. It feels like you could be in Alicante, like Zante or somewhere like.
Oh, right,
It's a bit like Brits Abroad, and it's so overpriced. But it is Miami, so what do you expect? And then we drove down to Key West. We actually stayed in Isla Morada, which is like about an hour from Key West, but then had 3 days there, which was just pretty much chill. We went to a turtle hospital, which was really cute. What else? And then we actually went down to Key West itself, which really kind of took me by surprise. I quite liked Key West.
I've stayed at Key West for a few nights. I really like Key West. It's really quaint.
Yeah, so I think that's a nice way of, if you want to break the trip up, or if you're going with a group that, aren't all in Disney, then it's very easy to do. Fly into Orlando, fly out of Key West. And we flew out, rather than coming back to Orlando, we flew out of Key West. We did Manchester to Orlando direct.
Yeah.
And then drove down, dropped the car at Key West and did Key West to Atlanta and Atlanta home.
Oh, right.
And then actually we managed to get a free upgrade.
How did you manage that? Honeymoon trip or honeymoon card?
Well, no. So weirdly, so I asked, like I would always do, is there any chance of a free upgrade? And like, no, definitely not. And then this is just weird. So a guy that I know is an air steward for Virgin. So I'm a DJ and he comes to my club night. That's how I know it. It's just wonderful. He comes to my club night, and on the way out, he was doing the presentation, like the safety bit.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, I was like, I said to my husband, I was like, I know that guy, like I definitely know him. Anyway, a couple of hours into the flight, went and said, I'm sure I recognise you. What's your name? And he kind of told me, and we were trying to put two and two together, and then we realised that he comes to my club night and always requests songs. Comes up to the DJ booth. And so he was really sweet, gave us a free bottle of champagne that we took with us. And then actually on the way back, the flight from Atlanta back to Manchester, he was on the flight as well.
What a bit of luck.
I know, and the flight was empty, and he was like, get your things, come with me. And he just moved us up into premium and economy. So that was just like the perfect way
what a great way to wrap
trip.
it up.
Yeah.
Are you glad you did the trip how you did it, or did you think you didn't have enough time at Disney? Or would you have done it as two separate holidays, or was it just perfect?
We could have done with maybe another couple of nights at Disney just to have taken our time. But I think my husband probably would have like got to the point and been like, right, we're done.
It's only so much fun and sugar.
But Miami, definitely 4 nights is enough, and 3 nights in Key West is enough as well. But my big brother has got a couple of young boys. So my little sister, who's 21, she's a big Disney princess fan, and she's never done Disney at all, Disney Paris or anywhere. So I think we'd like to go as a big family trip and probably just do Orlando at some point.
Yeah, do all the theme parks.
Yeah, and and then it's, you don't have to all be doing the same thing at the same time. You can say, right, me and my sister could go off and do that, and then, or we could take the boys for a day and do Animal Kingdom, and then they could, my brother and his wife can have a day to themselves by the pool. So I think doing it as a big family trip is nice, but you just have to be prepared that everybody wants to do different things. Whereas if you're a couple without kids, you can just go and
do what you
smash
want.
it.
Yeah.
That's the point. The reason that we smashed it so much was because we did single rider at every given opportunity. So we literally got on all the rides. And when there were queues, we were like, well, let's just go single rider. And we'd get on within, 20 minutes. Yeah. And then we've done it.
I think quite often being the same, I've done it on test track a number of times. I've gone single rider, but we've been in the same car.
Yeah.
Like sitting behind each other.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not like you're having a chat or having a brew whilst you're on the ride.
Just done it.
Or like holding hands or talking about, you get off and then you talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm really not bothered about sitting next to, I see him enough, don't need to sit next to him on the blooming
roller
roller
coaster. Nice to have a break, innit? God, you're married now.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
Well, thanks for chatting to us.
No worries.
And guess what I'm going to say now?
Oh.
Have a magical day.
Have a magical day, Andy.
If you would like to be a guest on the podcast and talk about your magical days at Walt Disney World, don't be shy. We're always looking for guests. And if you want to know how to get on, just send me a message. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. @PodMagical is where we are. Send me a message and we'll get you on sometime over the next few weeks or months or however long it takes to get you on. Don't forget, if you are going to the parks, tag us in your photographs as well at PodMagical. Then we can retweet that and make everybody jealous. Tag and brag. If you are about to head over to Orlando, weather is nice. We're getting to that nice high 20s, not quite humid, but nice. That kind of like nice warm spring weather. It does bring with it spring break crowds. As we get towards Easter, it's going to get busier as a lot of American schools take spring break, and spring break can be just as busy as Christmas at some points. There's a lot of new things coming in Walt Disney World. 4th of March is your date for your diary, next Wednesday. Let's start off over at Epcot. The Epcot Flower and Garden Festival starts with all the topiaries that are carved into your classic Disney characters. There's some food and wine booths, even though it's not the Food and Wine Festival. Also, the Garden Rock series, American Pavilion with loads of big names. So the 4th and 5th of March, you got Peebo Bryson, followed by some members of ELO. So it's not Jeff Lynne. I think it's like the rest of ELO, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th of March. Loads of other people like the Pointer Sisters and Berlin and Tony Orlando are appearing at Epcot over the coming weeks over at Flower and Garden Festival. 4th of March is also the day that Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Train opens at Hollywood Studios. You need to get a fast pass for that because the queues are going to be crazy. And also there's another Mickey attraction that opens on that day at Hollywood Studios, the Mickey Shorts Theatre, where you can probably get in, have a little bit of a rest, take in some shade, watch some classic Mickey Mouse on the big screen. It's about time Mickey had his attractions. He's waited years. He's the big cheese. Why is it taking so long to get 2 Mickey attractions? They're both opening on the same day, 4th of March. Andy's top tip of the week this week. Now, if you're on the dining plan or you get the free dining plan, it comes with the refillable mug. Now, there's a lot of things you can do with the refillable mug. So, for example, at your resort, if you're having breakfast, your breakfast, you get a meal and you get a drink. You can swap your drink out for another snack because you're using your refillable mug for your coffee or whatever. But that refillable mug is a resort-only refillable mug. But it doesn't just mean you can only use it at your resort. So if you take it with you and you're near another Walt Disney World resort, for example, if you're at Epcot and you nip over to Boardwalk, you can use your refillable mug at the Boardwalk Resort. In fact, on the actual Boardwalk, where they've got the bakery, that's where you can refill your drinks there. Over maybe at the Polynesian or the Grand Floridian, if you're at Magic Kingdom, you can pop into there. Or if you're going to see Animal Kingdom Lodge, you can take your refillable mug and use it at all the resorts, not just your resort. That's Andy's top tip of the week this week. Don't forget, we've got regular podcasts coming every Friday, so I hope you've subscribed. And if you're new to the podcast, there's a lot to catch up on. There's a lot of people's tips and recommendations for favourite restaurants and other things that they found on their trips that I'm still learning about. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Brand new podcasts coming every Friday on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And if you would like to give us a 5-star review as well, we would love that. And until next time, please stand clear of the doors.